Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you here today with an article from February 28th. Just getting to it now because I was on vacation and, well, just when I'm recording it. And it's from the Daily Signal, and it says, "This is the time to visit Israel. Envoy urges Americans to support the Jewish state amid Gaza war." So let's see what she has to say here. It says, Anat Sultan Dedan, Israel's consul general to the southeastern United States, says, I didn't realize that we had consul general to like specific regions of the country. Well, you learn something new every day, I guess. So it says now is the time to visit the Jewish state to show solidarity amid the war against Hamas. She also condemned South Africa's accusation of genocide against Israel. Yeah, South Africa has it's like, guys, you might want to see what you're doing to your white population there. There's a certain word, I'm not going to point out what it is or anything that actually applies to you guys, but whatever. Says, by all means, this is the time to visit Israel. She tells the Daily Signal podcast in an interview at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention. Says, yes, we have a war that we are conducting in Gaza in order to ensure that there is no war in Gaza, she adds. We're working to ensure that our southern border is safe. We're working to ensure that our northern border is safe. And this is the time to come and support Israel and Israelis on the ground. Says Sultan Dedan also urges listeners to use their voices amid calls for Israel to implement a ceasefire in Gaza. She turned those calls around on those making them. Says use your voice to call on Hamas to cease their fire, to call on Hamas to surrender, to lay down their weapons, and to release all of the remaining hostages from its October 7th attack, the consul general adds. As of last Wednesday, they have now been spending 138 days in brutal captivity. Yeah, they're not going to go along with it. In fact, as I'm recording this, which is a number of days after February 28th, the date of the article, they've, I think, already had another ceasefire that they've rejected. In fact, the Palestinians have rejected every single ceasefire option that Israel puts forward. So, you don't get to sit here and call for a ceasefire when your side is the one that keeps rejecting them. Okay? So, Israel just needs to go and finish the job. That's all I have to say. Finish off Hamas forever. Find their leaders. Put an end to them. Call it a day, go back home, sleep soundly. So last month, the International Court of Justice began hearing arguments on South Africa's accusation that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, and it's not, just so you know. Sultan Dedan condemns that as shameful. Yes, it is shameful, and I right-clicked by accident. So it is shameful that South Africa chooses to represent a terror organization, that's Hamas, that has no political goal, she says. Its goal is genocidal. The attack that they carried out on October 7th, Hamas's leadership states they will carry out October 7th again and again and again, which is correct. So South Africa, remember here, is supporting terrorists, as she said. Says on October 7th, Hamas invaded Israel from Gaza, as we remember, slaughtering more than 1,200 people, including civilians such as women and children, and taking hundreds of hostages. Hamas terrorists raped and tortured their victims and bragged about slaughtering Jews. So, while we are facing an attack by a genocidal terror organization, an organization whose charter includes the goal of wiping Israel off the map, off the face of the earth, we're the ones that have to defend ourselves from an accusation of genocide, Sultan Dedan notes. Yeah, it's kind of funny that they're defending themselves against the accusation of genocide when they're the ones that are, the genocide is actually trying to be done to. Okay? And that's the funny thing about this, is that these people who run around saying like free Palestine, these American idiots just don't get that. They're just not paying attention. They just think Israel's the one committing a genocide because they see what Israel's done to Gaza, which, well, Gaza, hate to break it to you, but you started a war, and you basically effed around, and now you're finding out. Okay, and these folks just don't seem to understand that. So she lays out the absurdity of the accusation by noting the different ways Israel and Hamas make war. Says, we are the ones who are doing more than any other army has done in order to protect the lives of uninvolved civilians, Sultan Dedan notes. Says, we are doing so while Hamas is doing the exact opposite, using their civilians as human shields, putting them intentionally in harm's way. Because in their thwarted minds, the more Palestinians who are killed, the better it serves their twisted agenda in harming Israel. Yeah, and anybody out there who doesn't believe me, you can go look this up. Okay, Israel. There's numerous videos you can find of Israelis calling ahead to like an apartment in Gaza and being like, "You need to get everybody out of there because we're going to be bombing this in 10 minutes." And there's one that I remember where the guy was like, "We're not getting anybody out of here. Like if they're gonna die, they're just gonna die this way." And the Israeli guy was like, "No, dude, like you need, like get them out of there." Trying to tell them. Okay, so again, only one side is looking for death, and it's not the Israelis. All right, and they do use civilians as human shields. You can see it with the aid trucks that are being provided there. Okay, these people do not care that their people are getting killed, because like it says, the more of them that are killed, the more the world is going to look to Israel and be like, you guys need to stop what you're doing because they're all getting killed. And it's Hamas's fault. I hate to break it to you. So it is time that the international community, the United Nations, the international organizations do what they should be doing, standing on the right side of history, she adds. If one stands for life, for freedom, for humanity, one should be standing together with us as we are fighting to defeat this evil, to defeat a genocidal terror organization that glorifies death and destruction. She also notes that Hamas would not have been able to carry out the terrorist attacks of October 7th without the support of the Islamic Republic of Iran. The larger destabilizing force that is behind the terror that we are seeing is the Ayatollah's regime of Iran, she says. Iran is funding, training, and equipping not just Hamas. They have many terror proxies in the region, including Hezbollah in Lebanon, including the Houthis in Yemen, terror elements in Iraq, terror elements in Syria. She calls on the international community to block Tehran's nuclear plan and its fomenting of terror in the region. So what they stand for is in stark contradiction to everything that we believe in, she adds. Says we sanctify life. We stand for life, freedom, while they glorify death and terror. And here's our full interview here. So it's only 26 minutes. That's not bad. But yeah, go ahead and listen to it. So yeah, I mean, everything she said here is correct. So why don't you guys let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.